welcome to the XR4ALL Spring event. Thank you for joining us. The objective of this afternoon is twofold. The first objective is to allow you to meet the XR4ALL partners. They are regional or national cluster gathering companies active in XR or research center. I'm thrilled to say that XR has already signed partnership agreement with 17 organizations. This afternoon, you will have the opportunity to meet 14 of them in about half an hour. My colleague Alexandra will explain to you how to proceed. The second objective is to give an overview of XR in Europe today. To do so, we have the privilege of welcoming several distinguished guests. First, Andrei Lunev from XR Inside Europe will present the state of XR in Europe and its perspectives. Second, Laetitia Bokut from Virtual Switzerland will highlight the crucial cooperation between the members of the European XR ecosystem. Third, Frank Gaillard from Alstom will present the point of view of industry that uses XR application and, above all, what are the industrial challenges that XR will be able to meet in the future. These three presentations will be followed by a panel discussion and Q&A at 4:15. The last presentation will be made by Anne Bajar from European Commission, who will talk about the future in XR in the EU. Finally, my colleague Sylvain will close the event by presenting the new XR4ALL Association, which will continue the activities of XR4ALL. So let's get started. I now give the floor to Andrei, and Lace to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Alan, for this welcome intro. I'm happy to present today and talk about why XR is important for Europe. So please, next slide. I switch off my video stream, but you will see slides. So I'm Andrei Lunev from XR Inside Europe. Some of you might know me through XR Crowd, where we run activities such as Zero Event, and I also host clubs on social media. Next, please. So why Europe should care about XR? Next slide, please. It's a huge industry with potential that was outlined by Pricewaterhouse in 2019 as 1.5 trillion in next 10 years. Next slide, please. And who is working on that? The 1 trillion club. Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, everyone doing something in VR. Or augmented reality. And recently, Facebook revealed the numbers that 10,000 people roughly working in that company, which is multiplied by average wage in Facebook, would add up at least to 3 billion of annual spendings. Next, please. So, and who are those companies? They're also leading in capitalization of the market. So basically, it's the leading companies, and they bet heavily on virtual reality and augmented reality. Next, please. So why should Europe care and lead? When it comes to XR, Europeans may be a little late to the party and a bit slow going at times, but that doesn't mean we can't be leaders and winners in this race. Next, please. So what is XR? In a nutshell, it's stemmed from three-dimensional data processing and modeling, into virtual reality, and then we have the recent augmented reality. Next, please. So those components makes the 3D makes the surrounding portable and transferable. Virtual reality teleports human conscious and attention into some digital location with presence and agency. And augmented reality makes real life world clickable. Next, please. And what it means in terms of technology and the importance of different components. So in 3D model, we need to have the to ensure fidelity of the model, that it doesn't have big alternations from the real life. In virtual reality, the plausibility of interactions and user engagement is the main field of competition. So it's basically UX and UI, user interface and user experience. While in augmented reality, it's way more complicated because it involves, well, we also use VR in VR computer vision, but in augmented reality, the entire infrastructure relies on computer vision, sensor fusion, connectivity, and translucent wearable displays, which are not there yet, but a lot of things going on in Europe in that sense as well. Next, please. So the holy trinity of XR. Sometimes we lose sight of the forest for the trees. While hardware and software technology may be essential for producing XR products, we should never neglect the users who consume these products, as well the virtual surrounding and content of XR experiences. So the place, settings, and the product itself. Well, basically 3 components like technology, people, users and developers, and places. And places probably the most important in terms of extended reality. Next, please. And if we talk about centers of gravity in XR industry, we can clearly identify 3: US, China, and Europe. And if we look into the strengths, definitely US software leading the world. China manufactures the hardware because it's effectively the center of production, while Europe very rich in terms of people and places. Next, please. And let's take another step back and look into Gartner top strategic trends that were identified prior to COVID. So basically, they group all those trends into groups: people-centric and smart spaces. Next, please. And the key finding is that B2B will be a leading application for the leading field of applying those technologies. And technology trends and artificial intelligence will have a foundational role in that field, along with physical environments that will turn into smart spaces. And in that sense, European industry is definitely placed to apply XR technologies. Next, please. So those top strategic trends actually manifest the human-centric spatial computing. And in my opinion, and I think we can find a consensus here, that Europe is the ultimate place where which connects people and those places. So often we next, please. Yeah. So often we look at the cup half empty, but we actually should celebrate ourselves in Europe. All in all, we are blessed with art, culture, infrastructure, and relatively happy, well-educated citizens. We are also pretty good at making things, and not just knockoffs of what others have invented. We have governmental bodies that, unlike some other places, take steps to protect our privacy and support innovation. And of course, we have private citizens, academics, and NGO groups, which are activists and change agents. So in that sense, the European culture of citizenship, supportive for policies, and very productive and proactive creative groups combines into fertile ground for innovation. Next, please. So, and I think most of the people know that over the last 10 years, we shifted from the notion of consumer and customers to the notion of users. And basically, the user become a product. And in that sense, European identities, brand values, and your strong European brands can actually feed into next shift in the culture of business, when we start perceive users not as a user, but we starting to address them as citizens. And this is basically one of our strengths that we can translate into metaverse and basically bring our European values into metaverse and invite everyone to join our meta citizenship. Next, please. So, of course, neither Gartner nor we know what awaits around the corner. Who would guess that the primary agent of digital transformation will be virus? But indeed, what was COVID teleported us into social distance, into distancing, like it or not, to rearrange our life around Zoom calls and to grow and extend virtual business and social relationships. Will it be a mess or a mesh, as Gartner projected? Well, we don't know yet, and whether will normal evolve to something even stranger. However, we already saw the role that XR and particularly European companies have been playing in that field over last year. Next, please. So the changes on the way, obviously working virtually has become a mass phenomenon, even if not everyone is wearing helmets. We have become accustomed conferences and meetings being remote. And for better or worse, we are using virtual devices to make long distance relationship more bearable and satisfying to the senses. We are using XR not just to escape from reality, but to respond to reality with constructive action, building more vibrant global communities with better communication across languages and across borders. Next, please. What does Europe still need to lead in XR? Europe is poised to assume a leadership role in the development and application of XR in our societies. It starts right here with organizations like this one, with crowdsourced knowledge and collaboration. It is certainly helped by initiatives like Horizon Europe, XR4ALL, and the emerging data trusts. The question remains open, whether we can create a super initiative in XR field, whether in the form of unicorn like Tesla-like, with Tesla-like potential, or something like government-led organizations like NASA or CERN. Next, please. And if we take a look into what happened recently, Tesla is considered to be a manifestation of the era of cult. And basically, with that belief that a lot of investors and people put into that company, they overcame all, in terms of market capitalization, every automotive company. Let's think about how can we cultivate European values in the metaverse, and whether or not it can be our main core value proposition for that future society, digital society. So basically, we can broadcast and share strengths of the European business culture and benefit from them by welcoming external parties also willing to follow this path digitally. Next, please. So what would a Euro XR leader look like? Whether it's a corporate or governmental structure, can we imagine such an entity? I would like to think that we can envision an enterprise that embodies the best qualities of European citizens, respecting diversity and privacy, upholding progress in human rights, reflecting our achievements in science, art, industry, and culture. It would be in the middle ground between West and East, capitalism and communism, individualistic yet socialized for the common good. It would be a backbone capable of resisting outside acquisitions, exploitation, and cooptation. In short, we can imagine any initiatives going in that field to blossom in being fed from our cultural roots. With that, next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah, with that, I want to thank you, and I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion today and hearing from our partners, from XR4ALL. And before I go, I'd like to mention a couple initiatives that I run, and along with many people who are present here today. Please please follow us on social media. And now I'm thrilled to hand off to my colleague, Letitia Bohud from Virtual Switzerland, and actually my kind of neighbor in real life, as I don't think we need to think the praises to the Swiss Trust. So with that, thank you so much for your attention, and hope to see everyone soon on in digital spaces. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Letitia Bachet, as Andre just said. Thank you, Alain. Thank you, Maureen, Alexandra, Anaïs as well, David, for inviting me and suggesting I present to you. Thank you, Andre. I didn't know you were back in Switzerland. Looking forward to meeting up. And today I will speak about partnerships. So I will speak to you today about partnerships in the XR sector in Europe. And to begin, I will present Virtual Switzerland. It's the Swiss Network for Extended Realities. It is a not-for-profit association promoting and fostering the adoption, the development, and the tech transfer of immersive technologies in Switzerland and promoting its know-how abroad. This is how we got to meet the XR4ALL team in Amsterdam, I think, the first time. So what we do and what we all do, I guess, all the clusters and XR4ALL is also striving to provide, collide, and connect. So provide a strategic advisory or business development opportunities, visibility, a solid network. We have around 70 members in Switzerland. This is also something that we could do together, but I will speak later about that. Collide means the academic and private spheres to have them meet each other, which is not always the case and not always easy since they have different timelines. Also in terms of funding, sometimes the academic is slower, or at least here in Switzerland, we have a very good instrument called InnoSwiss that also works with Horizon 2020 and your research but sometimes it's slow for some companies to submit funding applications. So we do have one successful story of a Horizon 2020 that got accepted with one of our unicorns. I mean, I think it's the only XR unicorn in Switzerland, with MindMaze and the Swiss University of Valais. What we do is also connect the creative minds in this industry, the ecosystems, like we all do today, and the public and private entities in Switzerland and abroad. So this is what I just said. The providing part is really key to bringing the knowledge of what we do and the use cases to the industry. The colliding is more the tech transfer, and the connecting is more the ecosystem. And I will today focus on the ecosystem part. So we are based in Geneva, at least I am, but like everyone else in the world, or almost everyone in the world, I work from home. And so it all started in 2017 from Geneva, and we grew across Switzerland, and we partnered with many fairs, congresses, events, festivals, other clusters here in Europe and across different continents. Also thanks to the SwissNext network, which is the research network in Switzerland abroad. What we suggest doing together to increase and underline the ecosystem growth is to evangelize. So we've done this, it means raising awareness about what the business problem XR may solve and how. It all starts with a business problem. Never use the XR to just fill out space or a program. And this is why we go to companies, we go to events, especially targeting industries, corporates, companies, SMEs, startups, where we can really evangelize about the efficiency. And for this, we need figures. And this is where I would like to draw really attention to you, because if you do have facts and figures, that would be nice to share. And this is what I highlight here. The use cases, this knowledge exchange is what we could do together to help this ecosystem grow. We can also lobby. By lobbying, I mean to demonstrate what the opportunities and the reach of XR are, also relating to the future skills needed in the work environment of the 10 to 15, 20 next years. We're doing foresight seminars right now using this methodology linked to future studies to really anticipate what might come and what skills should be upskilled or reskilled. So what competencies and work lines should really pay attention to the technological advances and what we can do in XR to help that. We also try to be there when there are new public policies implementation, meaning, for example, especially in the training area. So to bring the XR within the new curriculums that are currently being discussed at a cantonal or federal level. Also targeting the economic promotion agencies all across Switzerland. Switzerland has 26 cantons, meaning economic promotion and innovation is both a cantonal and a federal matter. So we need to really develop and use a lot of energy to lobby for immersive technologies, and also for creative industries, because we're totally transversal to creative industries. So what we suggest is to try to get links to the government, paragovernmental entities. The elected representatives are the easiest people to sensitize and to really speak to. Actually, it doesn't. Sometimes we are a bit shy about, you know, knocking on such doors, politicians and such, but actually they're quite welcoming when we have something strong, a strong use case to show. So what we can all do together is to strengthen the public relations. Each XR cluster at its own level could increase this global leverage, and liaising us all together could also increase the lobbying. And then, of course, as Andre also suggested before, there is the tech transfer, the fertile ground for innovation, as he said. It's this innovative and research-based innovation ground. And this is what Horizon 2020 and the InnoSwiss instrument are there for. So the idea is to create momentum in academic institutions, not only by using and researching on XR, but also on setting up XR-related academic programs. In Switzerland, we have one new certified advanced studies, a certificate of advanced studies, so the CAS, that will be the first one dedicated to non-tech professionals or graduates. And we need more of these because it helps also then evangelize and lobby for XR. So we also suggest to identify and apply for public research-based funding instruments, of course, when possible, and to try to bring these people, the colliding part, as formally explained, the colliding part between the academic and private spheres, and show the promotional entities that XR is relevant, because the more applications they receive at the European or local levels about XR research, the more they will think, perhaps we should put money into this technology. So what I suggest here for us all is to share information about intra-European goals and funding opportunities across industries. Because sometimes as well, what I've noticed on my smaller scale is that when I start developing an idea, a research idea, with a school, a Swiss university, or a technical school, suddenly I noticed there is another one on the other side of Switzerland doing something very similar. So if we don't talk and don't mingle, we double up and we are not efficient and we lose credibility. So we need to have impact, and in order to have impact, we should mutualize. And this is what I want to bring forth, the mutualizing of endeavors and the strengthening of collaboration. So bringing together our competences and know-how across industries. For instance, a very good example of this is the Europa Film Festivals network. It regroups a bunch of festivals, and also a bunch of them show XR content. And now they have this network where they can easily connect to each other and share content and XR content as well among each other. And this is sort of a wider special interest group that XR4ALL is known for, but it could also be brought to learning and training, to operations and manufacturing, because this one is for example, operations and manufacturing is one that many industries are keen and eager to understand, but we don't have much facts and figures again. Then the health and safety, the architecture, engineering, construction, and the forensic visualization, it's kind of booming currently, because we just ended a call for the InnoSwiss instrument, and I've been asked to sign letters of intent for many submissions and proposals. Then, of course, the entertainment and culture, but that has its own lobby in a way. The design also, since the creative process is not yet accepted as research, those schools, the art and design schools, they cannot, for example, apply for state-funded research-based innovation instruments. And then in the sales and marketing, there are research there, and that could also benefit us. So perhaps set up common documents and guides like the best practice for XR project management. This is what I'm actually currently doing for a big independent watchmaking manufacturer here in Switzerland. So they are interested worldwide of integrating XR projects. They do have some already in sales and marketing. I know they're trying to expand. And so I'm helping them bringing together a guide, a brand activation guide in XR. Also of mutualizing and bringing together the research papers on XR so that we get the facts and figures, just as I explained. And also our members, they have very strong use cases. Sometimes I need a specific profile for a panel or an event, and you have exactly what I need, but I don't know it. And also the academic research teams starting the projects on XR to avoid doubles, like I've said before. So we could also have a stronger presence. And I have tried this on my national level, and it's not easy because you have these different entities, the culture, the international affairs, and then the economic promotion, and sometimes it's not easy to put them all together. But if we, as lobbying and evangelizing promotional clusters, if we do have the mutualization and we come up with that solution, perhaps we could have a stronger impact at fairs and markets EU-wide. Also, we discussed last time of setting up a Discord channel so that we can have casual exchanges. I know, and Andre is very active on those, but there are already many WhatsApp channels and now on different channels, and this becomes a little bit too much to follow. But I think if we had one XR4ALL / XR for Europe channel, Discord channel, that would help us too. Why not monthly meetups? Perhaps in a professional setting, I mean, not, or for testing like you've done with the Zero Crowds, Andre, but that could be also a proposal, and I'm sure you all have the same idea. And a tech watch. Personally, at Virtual Switzerland, I have my colleague Christoph Merkle, some of you might know, who is responsible for bringing the tech watch every third week. And I think that could be nice to highlight what is done in Europe and what each of us is doing, or the success story of the month, or whatever, you know, but to perhaps mutualize this endeavor as well. So we all are XR4ALL. It's a very nice title, and I will miss it. I like this. I really liked the XR4ALL name, but I will also embrace the XR for Europe name. And we all, I guess, represent one or the other or all of these industry, community, and research circles. And with this, I thank you for listening. My name is Laetitia Bocchet, and I'm the director. I wrote it in French, directrice of Virtual Switzerland. Thank you very much. Looking forward to exchanging later. Thank you.
Hi guys, sorry for the small tech problems, internet problems. Well, you know how it is. Okay, well, thank you so much to you, Andre and Laetitia. As I said in the chat, the Q&A will take place after Frank's presentation later today. So if you have questions for them, I hope you wrote them down and then you can come back to it later. So now I'd like you to meet our partners. So to do so, we're going to show you 14 very short videos that they have prepared for us to present themselves. Right after the videos, you're going to have 1 hour to interact with them directly. And to do so, we're going to ask you to go on the Meet the Partners tab here in the menu on the left of your screen. You will end up in an interface with 14 blocks with the names of the partners on each of them. Then you can click on it, and you will end up, well, in the partner session. There, you can ask you to share your mic and video so that you can actually interact with them directly, orally, and with the video, or you can just write down your question in the chat and leave your contact information for a follow-up conversation. The aim is for you to meet as many partners as you'd like, so you have 1 hour to click on each of the tabs if you want to. After that, when the hour is over, we'll ask you to go back to the menu and click on the main stage tab so that you can follow the rest of the presentations. Well, now let's have a look at the partners presentation. Thank you. David, back to you.
Hello, I am David Naon. I'm happy to present you the French AFXR Association. We are coming from about 10 kind of population, all gathering together within a single united association around a manifest. The manifest is our purpose. It's why you would like to join us. You would like to get part of our collective. Our collective is made of the people who are really active, and around us we have all our members that all signed this manifest. We're followed by quite a lot of people, and we offer services for the community to interact, so newsletter, to push news, get support. You can find staff or jobs we've announced there. You can find in our directory members, and you can run your own events with us. We are also providing ways to acquire knowledge. That's key. So conference again, run tables, an agenda to follow the scientific and other activities, and last but not least, publications from trustable source that we advocate and we push on our website, all trustable sources. You want to know more? Come and share your insights. We'll be super happy to be with you, and thank you very much.
Put simply, the Academy is built around our members and helping them to achieve their goals. Perhaps you're a startup looking to spread the word about your new product. Maybe you're a storyteller hoping to find a platform and like-minded creatives. Whatever you're aiming to achieve, AXR has the community and initiatives to support those goals. From Silicon Valley to Melbourne, Singapore to London, Zurich to New Delhi, they're connecting, collaborating, and learning from each other every single day. We have an ever-expanding catalogue of exclusive resources, e-learning, and webinars for your entire organisation to take advantage of. But what we can produce is just a drop in the ocean compared to what our members have been achieving through AXR. We also partner with incredible events across the world to put our members and the power of extended reality on a pedestal for everyone to see. And it isn't just VR events we partner with. This could be on an AIXR panel at a prestigious film festival, or perhaps discounted tickets to some of the biggest business and tech events. We want our members to be represented wherever you look. And one of our most powerful initiatives is our industry-dedicated advisory boards. We've assembled some of the biggest, best members in their respective fields across healthcare, education, entertainment, enterprise, and location-based VR, with many more industries to come. We're already extremely lucky to have some of the biggest names in the industry guiding us through our steering board. Now we can take that mission and direction, and along with our members, put genuine resources into tackling the biggest challenges that your sector is facing. This is a place where colleagues, peers, and even competitors come together with one goal, and that's driving the industry forward.
Hello, we are Euromersive, a European association for XR professionals. We are building a large network that goes from independent artists and small companies to greater ones. Our main purpose is to conduct a study about the economical weight of our industry. To be as inclusive as possible, we will have one delegate per country that will report how the economy goes there. In order to have a European sovereignty in this immersive field, we wish to identify and support virtual platforms creators across Europe, content distributors and hardware constructors. We wish to become the entry point toward the European ecosystem from abroad, and to be the link between all of our members and public institutions. Our association will be soon created in a democratic way, allowing all interested persons to attend and vote for our representative. Please stay tuned and follow us on Facebook and Discord. Thank you very much. Bye!
Good afternoon. My name is Santeri Suominen and I represent FIVR, the Finnish Virtual Reality Association. We are an open and free association for professionals and hobbyists of virtual and mixed reality in Finland. We registered in 2016 and are currently connecting over 1,000 members in 2021. Our main focus areas are in networking and community building, empowerment and support of grassroots activity, mentoring and advisory, building funding opportunities and expertise, and forging multidisciplinary partnerships between XR tech developers and potential utilizers. And all this amounts to understanding the growing impact of XR on society. The FIVR hubs are our regional centers of activity, which offer free shared workspaces, equipment, etc. for early stage XR teams. These hubs have been made possible with support from our partners Metropolia, Varma, Turku Game Hub, Finnish Broadcasting Company, and Aalto University. We are currently at 3 locations in Helsinki, Tampere, and Turku, with our headquarters at Helsinki XR Center. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'd be happy to meet you in the networking section of this event, or we can connect later through emails or LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Rudy and I'm here to tell you about France Immersive Learning. So, we are a part competence dedicated to the usage of XR technology. In this part competence, you'll find 2 structure. First of all, you've got the association France Immersive Learning, which is there to unite the XR actors in France and French-speaking country. Then you've got the enterprise immersive learning lab owned by the association, who carries out the vision of the association. We are now up to 80 members. As you can see on my screen, you've got a variety of actors from content producers to end users so that everyone can reach out the most effective product in the end. The Immersive Learning Lab is there to train and accompany the actors in the deployment of XR technology. And our offices are in Paris. We've got roughly 500 meters square. Half of it is dedicated to XR technology. The other half is offices that our members can use when they come down. And last but not least, our team, we're up to 9 people today, and our funder is Nicolas Dupin, who founded the association and the enterprise. And our expertise is industry, health, education, culture, and now development, as we are going to have a new member coming. If you've got any question, please go to our website xr4all.com and contact us. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Santeri Saarinen, and I'm from Helsinki XR Center. Helsinki XR Center is publicly funded XR developer hub in Helsinki, Finland. We are operated by Metropolia University of Applied Sciences and the Finnish Virtual Reality Association. At Helsinki XR Center, we have three main activities. Firstly, we support early-stage startup teams by offering them free office space, equipment, mentoring, peer support, and other services. In the last 2 years, we've had 26 teams at our hub. Secondly, we showcase Finnish XR solutions and technology at our showroom and our events, both physical and virtual. And we collaborate with more than 100 Finnish XR companies and numerous international partners. Thirdly, we conduct research and development activities together with universities and companies, ranging from small student projects to huge EU-funded projects. I'm looking forward to discussing with you further, and please feel free to check out our website for more information.
Hi everyone, my name is Ash Easton and I lead an organization called Immerse UK. We are the UK's VR and AR professional network, and we are part of a larger organization called KTN. So I'll give you a bit of background into who we are. So we were launched in 2016. As I mentioned, we are powered by the KTN and supported by Innovate UK, which is the part of the UK government that does research and development grant funding. We were set up to help to grow the immersive tech ecosystem in the UK and to help make it a bit less fragmented. And we work with all the other sector teams in the KTN to help facilitate cross-sector innovation, and our goal is really to help to position the UK as a leader in immersive tech. So we are founded initially as something called an innovation network within the KTN, and there are many different innovation networks that focus on all kinds of different technologies. So this is just the example of all the other innovation networks that we currently have at KTN. So Immerse UK is the largest one. These are our founding members. As you can see, we have a very wide range of members coming from all sectors, right from the creative industries with the Royal Shakespeare Company and the National Theatre, right up to big industry players like BAE Systems and Arup. We also have Epic Games and Unity on board, and tons of different academic partners as well. So we have evolved into a membership organization. Our members are able to take advantage of all of our member benefits, access our directory, post their projects and showcase their work, post to our R&D projects board to look for partners to collaborate with or to apply for funding with, and along with a whole bunch of other benefits. So I think I only have 90 seconds, I believe, for this. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out at any time. I'd be happy to follow up later. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephen Patterson. I lead MedVR, an initiative in learning and innovation in medical extended reality. We got started with the MIT Media Lab Reality Virtually Hackathon, the largest immersive tech hackathon in the world. We have focused on medical extended reality because of the very solid evidence-based use cases and disciplines. We're really focused on three things: convening the community of medical and technical professionals and students interested in this field. We've held a series of talks over the last year that has connected with over 2,000 people. We educate teams in the interdisciplinary art of medical extended reality innovation and plan to launch an online boot camp very soon. That will culminate in an annual capstone project competition in June of 2022 at Northeastern University in Boston and another location someplace else worldwide. Our sponsors and affiliates are listed here. I look forward to answering your questions and learning about your projects.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alina Kadlubski, Managing Director of Open Air Cloud Europe. The Open Air Cloud Europe, GUG, is the European branch of the Open Air Cloud Association. The Open Air Cloud is a global nonprofit organization founded in 2018 with the mission to drive the development of open and interoperable spatial computing technology, data, and standards to connect the real and the digital world. Open Air Cloud's official European presence will enable us to collaborate much more closely with you and other organizations, companies, and governments all over the continent. One of Open Air Cloud's projects is the Open Spatial Computing Platform and its implementations in testbeds. So we are looking forward to continuing the conversation and join forces with you and your organization.
Do you want to develop a cross-platform XR product? Are you struggling with it? Without a cross-platform standard, XR applications and devices must use each other's APIs. In turn, this means that each platform can only use the apps and devices that have been ported. The result is industry fragmentation with too many operating systems with only vendor-specific ecosystems and XR devices. Currently, you are forced to deploy oversized, single-packaged applications because of no task distribution. It results mostly the same implementation for same problems, with license fees, scalability issues, with no IoT support or industry-grade security. Your solution is the Apertus VR software library. Apertus offers a new no-vendor lock-in approach for XR on different operating systems and on different XR hardware. Our cross-platform engine eliminates industry fragmentation by enabling applications to be written once and to run on any XR device. It ensures easy and fast XR integration into existing products, resulting shared virtual spaces on different platforms via the internet. The strength of our library lays in its core plugin structure. Apertus Core syncs and distributes scene data on all devices in the sessions as an abstract database. Apertus plugins ensure easy coupling of devices and services to the core, such as tracking and rendering. The result is a configurable ecosystem over internet where you can optimize performance based on the computational power of the participants and share any kind of data in the 3D scene. Apertus VR is not a framework. It's a set of embeddable libraries that can be integrated into your existing project. You don't have to integrate your application into other frameworks, as Apertus extends your product with XR capabilities. Our library runs on all major OS and supports a wide range of XR devices. With the help of Apertus VR, incompatible XR devices can be used in a shared virtual space. The open-source MIT licensed code base grants you full control of the source code. And from the business aspect, you have to implement the business logic only once without the need to pay license fees and don't have to re-implement your existing product to have XR services. As a result, you'll speed up your XR development and give a service to a much wider community. You see, XR application development just got easier and more consistent.
Hello, my name is Laetitia Botchet, and I am the director of Virtual Switzerland. At Virtual Switzerland, we encourage and foster the development, the integration, and the tech transfer of immersive technologies
nationwide, or hashtag SwissXR. We bring together the academic and private actors in order to create new initiatives and innovation projects or even products. We have reached more than 70 members across all cantons and across the 4 language regions of Switzerland, in startups, companies, corporates, and laboratories or departments of Swiss universities. We also offer strategic advisory about XR development or implementation across industries. Salut! À te! À revoir! Ciao!
The VRBB, or Virtual Reality Berlin-Brandenburg e.V., is the association in the capital region in Germany. Virtual Reality Association Berlin-Brandenburg is a publicly funded association dedicated to advancing the virtual, augmented and mixed reality industries. It gathers companies from all fields of XR industry, from entertainment to medical, automotive, design, architecture, whatever you have in mind and can be done with this new medium. VRBB was founded in 2016 by about 50 members and now gathers about 85 members from industry, academia and institutions. The VRBB constantly applies for funds to get financed itself, but as well the events in the region, for example through the ILB, the Investment Bank of Brandenburg, that funds the VRBB since 6 years now in a row, as well as, for example, the Medienboard Berlin-Brandenburg for the events. Until today, the VRBB collected between €500,000 and €1 million for all the activities. The VRBB organizes regular networking events between members and the industry, as well as weekly updates to members about opportunities and informations in newsletters. The VRBB aims strongly on partnerships in Germany and across the world.
Hi everyone. XR groups fascinating technologies with many uses and possibilities still to be found. Of course, education and research are fields where new ideas and experimentation find a natural place to grow. Much more now with the pandemic, where every institution is looking for the ultimate tool for improving remote learning. My name is Javier Alewanyi. I work for the Center of Innovation of Leiden University. Here, we identify, explore, create, and communicate solutions that account for XR's human aspects, such as social interaction, well-being, privacy, and ethics. Our mission is to support the university and our partners in using XR for good. While walking through this path, we realized that we are not alone. That's why we founded XR4ALL, an open and independent community for XR professionals in academia, where we stimulate the sharing of knowledge and relevant content in the field. We believe that the future of XR in academia is in the hand of our community, so we want to bring together as many voices and perspectives as possible. You can join XR4ALL now by visiting our website, xr4all.eu. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Joe Orengo, and I'm the president of XR Nation. We're the largest business ecosystem in the Nordic and Baltic region to offer XR solutions. Our mission is to make the region a powerhouse of extended reality. In order to do this, we have gathered together a community of XR-related companies and set up a multi-sided marketplace. We help brands connect their business goals with XR technologies and help find the best companies to work with. As you can see, we have a number of notable names as members and partners all along the value chain. For hardware, we have Vario. For the development kit and platform, we have AR by Delia. For ready-made industry solutions, we have companies like Grib and Median VR. And for custom content creation, we have companies like Mikiwi and Zoan. If you're interested in exploring how XR can help your business, reach out to us at www.xrnation.com. And if you have any questions or comments or interested in joining XR Nation as a partner or member, please contact us at info@xrnation.com. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
I am Frank Gaillard, Global Director of Learning at Alstom Group, global leader in transportation systems and infrastructure. Alstom company is comprised of 75,000 employees all over the globe. Like many innovative companies, we have extensively used extended reality, XR, for several years now. Let's have an overview of its applications at Alstom. As you have seen, there are today some very important needs we are addressing. They are related to promotion of services towards our customers, design reviews of our products, and also innovation in design, industrialization, and maintenance areas. Let's see more concretely what it means at the Alstom Headquarters Virtual Reality Center.
Le centre de réalité virtuelle d'Alstom Transport est équipé d'un écran d'environ 6 mètres par 2,50 m de haut. Le système est constitué d'un cluster de 10 PC et de 4 projecteurs en stéréoscopie passive qui va permettre d'afficher les images en relief. Par-dessus ça, nous avons un système de tracking qui va permettre de calculer la position de l'utilisateur en temps réel et de lui afficher toujours le point de vue à sa bonne perspective. Et ça va lui permettre d'être complètement immergé à l'intérieur de la maquette et de naviguer à l'échelle 1. On est plugué directement sur le système de gestion de données d'Alstom Transport, donc on est capable d'afficher n'importe quel modèle 3D disponible sans temps de préparation additionnel. Lorsque l'utilisateur est en immersif, il va avoir à sa disposition tout le box de fonctionnalités immersives qui vont lui permettre aussi d'interagir, en plus d'être immergé, d'interagir complètement avec la maquette et il va pouvoir par exemple faire des plans de coupe, prendre des mesures, cacher, montrer et déplacer des pièces directement en immersif.
Nous avons 3 applications majeures. La première application, c'est pour faire la promotion des offres Alstom Transport. Donc nous recevons dans la salle l'ensemble de nos clients futurs en phase d'offre ou en phase projet pour leur présenter en rendu réaliste leurs futurs projets. La deuxième application est plus technique et là nous avons mis en place un process qui s'appelle Process Digital Mockup Trend Review, donc DMTR, où là nous travaillons avec les équipes techniques sur la maquette numérique pour valider des options techniques, regarder des collisions, regarder des dysfonctionnements. La troisième application, elle est plus d'innovation et là on travaille avec la petite équipe que j'ai pour justement chercher des fonctionnalités de réalité virtuelle afin d'aider au mieux l'ensemble des acteurs du cycle de développement de nos produits, donc design, industrialisation et maintenance.
On top of these topics, we are also facing the need to test scenarios through digital twins and augmented reality. Our test and commissioning activities require many verifications that we would like to perform for some of them through extended reality. Watch this space.
C'est dans le cadre d'un partenariat technologique de co-innovation avec Alstom que Capgemini a développé Virtual Train, basé sur les technologies de réalité virtuelle. L'application est déployée sur le métro MP14. MP14 est le nouveau train développé par Alstom Transport pour la RATP et pour Île-de-France Mobilité. L'application est aussi déployée sur nos projets Tramway P101 en Chine et en Europe.
Virtual Train s'avère très utile lors du déroulement de nos scénarios de test car il nous permet d'obtenir en temps réel un retour sur nos actions telles que l'ouverture de porte, la mise en mouvement d'un train ou encore la perte d'un équipement.
L'application permet d'abord d'avoir une vision synthétique en un seul coup d'œil de l'état du système déployé sur le train. Elle permet également de simuler une partie des équipements manquants du système. L'application est utilisée sur nos bancs d'essai au laboratoire d'Aix-en-Provence pour les activités de validation système. Elle est également utilisée sur le site Alstom de Valenciennes sur les trains en cours de production.
Cette application nous permet d'anticiper les tests sur un train partiellement assemblé, ce qui nous permet de sécuriser la livraison finale du métro. Que cela soit sur les activités réalisées en usine ou sur le site de production, cette application facilite nos activités de test car elle apporte une vision synthétique de notre système et rend accessible le fonctionnel à une personne non initiée.
Capgemini nous accompagne depuis plusieurs années sur les activités de validation système et sur les moyens d'essai de mon département. Nous avons bâti une relation de confiance. Maintenant, Capgemini connaît nos besoins, connaît nos façons de travailler. Cela leur a permis de nous proposer des solutions sur les technologies innovantes qui ne sont pas dans notre cœur de métier.
Aujourd'hui, nous imaginons une évolution de cette application qui serait basée sur la réalité augmentée. C'est-à-dire que nous fournirions aux équipes de production de Valenciennes des lunettes qui leur permettraient de travailler en immersion sur le système réel et avoir un retour en temps réel sur le système simulé.
Remote assistance is also a key application for augmented reality. We need to limit the unproductive time and costs which are due to the travel of our experts. Optimization of time spent by the expert, less travel expenses, less carbon emissions due to flights. It is safer and more comfortable for the experts who no longer need to spend days abroad far from their families and suffer from jet lag and tiredness, especially in such days of pandemics we are facing. And it eventually improves the reaction time of the experts who can respond much faster from anywhere in the world. Let's see how our Italian teams in Sesto have addressed this issue.
Nel 2016, nell'ambito dell'industria 4.0, abbiamo deciso di avere JoinPy come partner tecnologico. JoinPy dà un'esperienza importante nell'augmented reality nel mondo industriale. Abbiamo deciso con JoinPy di lavorare sulla remote assistance, mettendo in relazione un operatore esperto e gli operatori sul campo.
L'obiettivo era quello di migliorare la comunicazione avvalendoci delle nuove tecnologie ad oggi disponibili. La realtà aumentata, con l'utilizzo di device come gli smart glasses, permette di condividere in tempo reale e sulla visuale dell'operatore tutte le informazioni necessarie ad effettuare l'intervento. Inoltre permette di mantenere le mani libere e questo è un aiuto durante lo svolgimento dell'attività.
As I told you at the beginning of this discussion, I am in charge of learning and development at Alstom. And as you can imagine, my favorite domain is the one of skill development. And of course, when we have delivered our products to customers, we need to train them in the operation and maintenance of their new equipment. This is why we leverage virtual reality through driving simulators. Here you can see an example of driving simulator used for training drivers of the Metro of Barcelona. But training is constantly requiring more from extended reality when it comes to acquiring technical skills or running events requiring higher realism in terms of interactions. For instance, we are used now to create virtual reality visits of the Alstom sites in order to perform induction of newcomers at scale with a much better cost efficiency. By the way, I'd like to share with you the creation steps of the virtual reality visit of our Alstom site in Tarbes, France. As you know very well, unfortunately, running corporate events or seminars has also become a challenge since 1 year. Today, it requires not only new skills, but new solutions like virtual worlds, where the participants are reflected through their avatar and can interact with their colleagues, their environment, and the products. Here are a few illustrations of what we have been doing with the current solutions of the market on this map. Naturally, it's not only about gathering people in virtual worlds, have them interacting together like if they were in real life, virtually shaking hands and speaking with each other. We need to deliver technical training through immersive step-by-step technical operations. Such virtual operations are of course very complex to implement. But the result is amazing for the learners. They are no longer exposed from scratch to dangerous situations in real life, or to very expensive products and tools they have to control. But they are free to make mistakes, they can repeat and eventually learn by doing from a lot of these virtual operations. As I am also in charge of the Alstom Corporate University, I would like to share with you what we have identified as our current needs. It is pretty much about enabling people to learn and share their expertise at scale. It should be possible for people to move in the rooms like if they were really present in the virtual room, ideally through 6 degrees of freedom devices. We want our experts to be able to easily create and customize virtual worlds, include 3D models, equipment, rooms, workspaces, etc. Ideally, they should be able to interact with learners like in real-life situations with real person avatars, enabling people to read body language. All of that should also be possible while gathering large groups of people from anywhere in the world. Having said that, my perception is that the technology has become very mature in the XR domain. However, XR has not yet penetrated the whole spheres of the industry. It really should address many topics like I've shown before, much more extensively, in order to help us improve our company's competitiveness. I see several reasons for which the development of these solutions has remained too limited. The cost of the devices, especially in the context of business solutions. The lack of European platforms that would enable our companies to ensure control over the data. Virtual worlds, XR device, fleet and configuration management. The lack also of powerful and simple authoring tools. We would really need to easily create scenarios reflecting real-world life situations. The lack of large banks of 3D models are a concern as well. The current databases are very limited in number and variety of content. The lack of XR acumen in the populations. Most people have still not used XR technologies, even if many of them own the latest smartphone technologies. The lack of norms and regulations, finally, when it comes to data exchanges in the current tools and solutions. This is why I sincerely hope that an organization like XR4ALL and the stakeholders that you are in this market will help the industry to appropriate fully the extended reality and make the most out of it.
travail là. Génial.
Merci. Merci.
Ouais, ça me donne des idées. Ça me donne des idées. Il y a les CFF, ils sont pas très loin de vous. Je sais pas si vous connaissez les CFF, les chemins de fer fédéraux.
Ouais.
Ils ont aussi une task force XR interne. Il y a beaucoup d'intrapreneurship dans l'industrie, comme je vois. Hein. C'est le cas chez vous d'ailleurs, non?
Oui, 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 on en trouve.
Ah, nous sommes live. Nous sommes live. C'est toujours assez étrange d'être live entre nous quatre sans voir le public. Donc,
Oui.
Bonjour à ceux qui nous rejoignent. Hello everyone. We were talking between us in French, and it's always a little bit weird to be live without seeing you. So thank you for. I've been following the first sessions for the exchanges, the 1 hour exchanging in the different rooms of the different partners. Thank you, Frank, Laetitia, and Andre for your presentation and great insights. Now comes the moment of an open discussions, to questions to our virtual audience. So as a reminder, you can write down your questions in the chat box or in the Q&A. You've got two tools. You can choose the more comfortable one for you. I will check the questions and ask them to our speakers. We lost Laetitia for a while, but I guess that she will come back. In order to start the discussion, I've got a question for you both, actually, Frank and Andre. During your presentation, Andre, you truly pointed the identity, may we say, of the three major players in terms of territories, which are USA for the software force, China for the hardware force, and Europe more for the people and places. But among our activities at XR4ALL and the researches and the research agenda that we've been provided last year to the European Commission, one key point that came back several times is the question of sovereignty. And so how to ensure European sovereignty and also security and, in a way, autonomy regarding hardware and specifically devices and software and solutions, as it appears to be a key need and challenge in Europe. So my question to the three of us now, welcome back, Laetitia, is that do you think that Europe must have its own hardware and software solution force, or work harder at regulations and close collaborations with already installed big players, or both of these two paths?
Actually, I have. Do you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I have an answer because right now I'm working on a project. I mean, we have started suggesting a project for the Confederation, and so we hit hard on those topics. I think one main pain point is the back end and the servers, the hosting. So I think, for example, for the Confederation, we have to be sure that everything is locally sourced, that everything is locally hosted, that we use the IT infrastructure from the government. And this is, I guess, it won't be a mutualized ground, as I was preaching for before. I think it goes in the entire opposite direction. And also, what is nice with this diversity is that it enables smaller actors to grasp some place in the software venture area. Otherwise, we would be totally we would be powerless in front of Californian-based software companies, I think. And I was wondering about the software you're using at Alstom.
The softwares, the platforms?
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, we are using typical platforms and that are usually, of course, not especially in Europe. But the use we do is, I would say, still limited in the sense that we have not adopted for the whole group one single platform that would enable us to specify globally the content of the devices. That would be the encounter platform in which we would be gathering people in the same place. So we are using what's available on the market, and truly speaking, it's clearly missing today this European platform which we would be able to leverage. Would that be this virtual world with the servers implemented in Europe, as you were referring to, and but also the platforms that would enable us to control the content of the equipment we would be spreading all over the world in the Alstom sites. So today we have equipments here and there in the different sites. So all production sites, almost all production sites are equipped today. But there is no common single platform enabling us to keep control over all these different equipments.
Okay, and how do you answer Sylvain's question? I mean, regarding data, is it a very strong issue of yours, or not? You're not that concerned about cybersecurity and such, and data security?
And moreover than data, it's also and it's talked in the chat box about software and hardware. How Europe must or should have its own solutions, first for its own needs, but also to compete at an international level.
I think both sides are necessary, and it's not only about platforms, software platforms, but also about equipments and devices. But I see some products emerging these days. I've seen one recently with the links from in France, but we'll see. The concern from my perspective is the cost of the devices for the moment, especially in the business, in the frame of business solutions. So
Vario is the one to.
And what do you think,
right?
Andre?
Yeah.
Well, I would quote here some smart guy from Silicon Valley, probably either from Apple or from Andreessen Horowitz, who said, as a software engineer, you can build the good software only if you have only if you own hardware. So basically, with that regard, I would say that Apple manifests the best ecosystem in that sense, because they own full stack. But still, on every technological era, like now we approach in spatial computing after 10 years in mobile computing, and before we were in connected and personal computing prior to that. And each stage of this technology development was owned by different parts of the stack. So basically, if we talk about personal computing, there was the era of IBM, Intel, and Microsoft, while definitely mobile compute is owned by Apple, Google, and Facebook, who didn't exist even earlier, and they completely software companies. So in that sense, what Letitia said about the backbone infrastructure is super important. But in terms of like the ultimate plain component is the human, and you can have all the security and zero trust networks in place. But if you offer a human to click a button and agree to accept cookies, then basically all your backbone doesn't work because he already committed all the data to the cookie operator. And basically, what can you do? You can only educate people on not doing that and cultivate the conscious behavior online, but also probably providing them with some, I don't know, understanding of benefits of contributing data. In that sense, it's very interesting project in Europe, either already launched or will be launched by the end of this year, which called Data Trust. So basically, Europe promotes people contribute data about themselves into that entity who would govern this data and provide access to that data to different third parties. Well, I would say in that regard, I'm safe being in Switzerland because Switzerland is kind of a brand for trust. And if they offer some sort of such solution, I would probably go and just delegate my decision power about whom to trust to some collective authority. At least for me, it would release a lot of questions. And yeah, but that's authority. I see the chart. It actually can become absolute sovereignty, so autocratic government. How to resolve this conflict? Well, I don't know. I'm basically, this is like my own research since last year, but I don't have a solution yet to share. But
Luc Ferry, you know, the ex-ministry of education in France, Luc Ferry said that this is the silliest regulation in place in the European Union, the GDPR, because, you know, what will you do? You won't take time. You always click OK, and then what happens? You know, you're in the cybersphere and you have no control. So it's yeah, well, it's a no barrier.
Right, but in that sense, there is no control, but there is a trust, and people used to put trust in brands, and brands is kind of a marketing mechanism to manage trust, because if you lose trust of your customers or your users or your citizens, and they just leave, and your market valuation will goes down. So in that sense, I'm also confident that like economic mechanism can regulate those things. But what we need to do, because economic mechanism is just a system, but we need to set up the right goals, and then educate people how to deal with those goals. And this is of key importance, because in terms of, let's say, leadership, Europe was for centuries ahead in terms of social democracy and philosophy. And I think we can put a lot of, we can learn a lot from the past and implement those frameworks actually for business purposes even. I don't know if it does make sense. Frank, what do you think? I saw you nodding.
Actually, I think that what will happen has certainly already happened, in a sense that this is, if you look at what happens, for instance, for learning management systems, usually you do not, we used to buy these solutions in countries like US or others, and again you face this issue of the protection of data, the data privacy, and what is the answer? As Laetitia was saying, it's all about the location of the servers. So unfortunately, I would like it to be different, but unfortunately, I feel like it will go the same way. Competition will be in favor of developments in US and China, and where the industry has taken some lead, and we will have to cope with that. But it could be that suddenly Europe decides to invest so much money that we could become leaders in those areas. It's not obvious today.
There are some initiatives, of course, you know, mostly linked to the academia or again to those funding instruments. We have the the Trust Valley in Switzerland, we have different types of software initiatives to increase the awareness of what you do with your data, or I should say to everyone, read Jared Lanier, why deleting your social media account, 10 reasons why. So I don't know, perhaps we're all part of the problem and all part of the solution. Andre is coming up with an answer.
I'm
actually
trying to respond. You will have 2 minutes, Andre. I'm the bad guy of the group.
One minute. Actually, I was trying to respond to Gregory Mobon in the chat regarding the Linux case. It's indeed a shame that a European company that offered the almost standalone, very state-of-the-art headset has to seek for investments in Silicon Valley now, while we do have probably we just caught in the between two programs, Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe, and that's why they go there. But actually, we have resources here and we have companies here, but we still go in the circles, transatlantic or to the Far East. So we need to somehow bring those cases to light and probably talk more on the public with public authorities. That's why we basically need you, Sylvain.
That's a very good transition, Andre. Better than I could have addressed to our next speaker. So we've got only 2 minutes left. We would have so many questions to share and have more hours of discussion. And we promise that from XR4ALL and the coming XR4Europe organization, we will work hardly along all of these great partners that we virtually met today to organize more spaces to discuss, to share, and to think about how to push forward in a good way our industry. Just as a reminder, now we will have a presentation from Anne Majar from the European Commission to talk about the European Commission vision about XR. And then I will come back to address a few words about XR4Europe, the new organization being created with all of you. And as a reminder, before passing the floor to Anne, you as participants of the event today won't have access to the platform after the event. So if you had exchanged some information, contact email in the chat box, just copy it, because you won't have access to it after the event. So it's been short, but it's been straight to the point. Thank you very much, Laetitia, Frank, and Andre, for taking time for sharing your insights. Thanks again to all the partners that took time during our open discussion rooms. I witnessed very interesting exchanges. It's really a pleasure to meet even virtually with all of you. So take care. Now the stage is to Anne Majar, and see you at the last keynote, mine, for the closing words.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, it's my turn, and I mean, I heard many interesting things in the last hours. I'm going to try to answer some of them, but probably, I mean, there will still be a lot of questions afterwards. Let's have a try. So I'm deeply head of units in the European Commission DG Connect, in the unit dealing with interactive technologies and digital for culture and education. And this is basically where we are dealing with extended reality, and we are in charge of the XR4ALL project on the ECSAT. So, I mean, I will start by stating the obvious, but I think sometimes it's good to remind it. I mean, indeed, extended reality is getting more and more mature and it's going mainstream and it's applied in many different domains, and it's continuously growing in terms of market, in terms of opportunities, and of course, the COVID-19 crisis has even shown more how useful the fact to be able to connect virtually and remotely is important for whatever purposes. So there is really here a big time, I think, for XR and a unique opportunity for stakeholders to show that this can be useful for society. It's moving from hype to reality, but as one of the speakers said, probably not for everyone. There are still many people who don't have a clue and have never used VR. Still, I mean, in practice, if you would like to use it, this is more possible than, let's say, 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. As I said, there is a huge interest at political level raised by COVID-19, but also by all the climate and environmental concerns. You probably all heard that Green Deal introduced by our president already some time ago now. I mean, so all of this is a big package and XR has a role to play. It's about creating value across multiple sectors in economy and society, about scalable platforms, and rollouts at large companies. It's about increasing number of applications, engaging users in spaces, and it's about making technology more and more mature, more capable, comfortable, affordable, with a better infrastructure, faster networks, and improved capturing and authoring tools. I think it basically says a lot of things that have been said already, but it's a relief for me because it shows that basically we are probably understanding more or less your needs the right way. There are still an awful lot of challenges. It was mentioned by many other people before me. I think the biggest one is the one very often mentioned, is the domination of non-European corporations for hardware. And the fact that we have this creates an awful lot of other problems about the sovereignty, the data, I mean, the privacy, the cybersecurity issue. So this is really the first problem. Then we have the question of the cost of the hardware. I mean, having a kind of consumer material is more or less affordable. If you want something for professional use, suddenly the cost can become really very expensive. There is also clearly a lack of bandwidth for on the go. There are, of course, extremely high expectations of 5G, but well, 5G still needs to be completely in Europe, and we still have questions. And there is also even the question of what about 6G, and are we prepared enough? So, I mean, there are still a lot of questions there. There is, to our opinion, also a lack of widely accepted standards. So we have a problem about interoperability, about testing cost, about the development cost, and how we involve European players in defining and contributing to those standards. I mean, there is also a huge question there. There is also an awful lot of copyright constraints when it comes to reuse content. So, I mean, someone said before that we lack 3D banks. Yes, but we also lack possibility to reuse data, because there are many databases out there, but they come with a cost and with interoperability issues. So this is not easy. There is a lack of skills on how to use, how to develop. This is a problem common for many emerging technologies, but it's very true for XR as well. And there is also this thing that basically XR is not just a field for engineers or scientists, but it's also something in which many artists are very much interested to create realistic virtual worlds and environments. It also requires some artistic skills there. And it means that it's not always easy to understand each other. But we have a clear European added value. We do strongly believe at the European Commission that by preserving core EU values when developing applications, I mean, we have a place there. It's about trust and confidence in using systems and devices to make sure that you would feel as a citizen, as a user, more comfortable using something which is stack developed in Europe than something you buy from China, for example. We have the GDPR, it was mentioned. It's already one first step. Sometimes people say that it prevents innovation because it makes things much more complicated. On the other hand, it's also a security for users, even if, as it was said, I do it also at just double click without checking most of the time. But well, it's there and it's unique in the world, and many people outside of Europe envy us for it. So it's something important. Then we have all the issue about data security, the impact on health, the cyber, the long-term impact, and the protection of minors if they are using such tools. It's a big package, this. I mean, it's something which is really out there. It's a bit studied, but it's not completely studied. We definitely need to know more about what is the impact if you start using XR systems for a long time, every day. What does it mean for your cognitive development, for your health, skeleton issues, but also, other issues, psychological and so on. So there is really a lot to discuss there and to investigate. And it comes with the next question, which is about ethics. Because as soon as you use artificial intelligence, and you do use artificial intelligence when developing elaborated XR systems, you can introduce bias. And of course, if you are in a virtual environment, this would be extremely problematic if those bias would become very visible. So, I mean, this is what we need to deal with as well as the question of disinformation and fake news, especially when you are in a virtual world. It's kind of easy to create indeed fake information and fake things. Much easier than in the real one. So, I mean, how do we tackle this? And then there is the question of inclusiveness, but something which is also important if we want to deal with the package talking about European added value, to make sure that those systems are accessible for all, and also that they are multilingual accessible, because we live in a Europe which has many different languages, as we all know. It's also about social awareness and acceptance. So basically, I mean, as it was said, we need to find a way to explain to people what opportunities, that it's not a risk to use them. It's really something that can help you, that can support you in private life, in your professional life, that there are rules, that there will be a lot of security measures around the applications developed in Europe, as I said, about privacy, ownership, cybersecurity, legal consequences of using those systems. If you commit a crime in a virtual world, I mean, is it a crime or isn't it a crime? Good questions. And about the psychological effects. So, I mean, we think that if we want to really have a full take-up and a deployment of those things widely, we also need to make to keep information available so that they can accept it if they wish. So I always insist on awareness before acceptance, because it's not about pushing things on people. It's about making people aware and then let people decide if they want to use it or not. But if we have sufficiently strong arguments, they should also see the advantage, as probably everyone in this meeting sees. And then comes the interesting slide for you, I guess, which is about the possibility for fundings coming in the next 2 years. I mean, we have quite a substantial effort in Horizon 2020 already for the last 2 years, with 43 million fundings spent on and 24 more millions spent on the use of emerging technologies for cultural heritage and education, where many projects were XR. So it's quite a significant amount of money for 2 years, honestly. We had many different projects in all domains. I mean, they are listed, but it's really like the first slide I show, it's really spreading everywhere. And we had the CSA, which you all know because we are in the workshop, with really the goal to build an XR community, which is what they are really for the moment. So we really hope that you all together can really make things happen faster and more efficiently in the future. And I mean, the purpose of the CSA was really on industry, and I think this is quite clear from the meeting we have today as well, that I mean, we have learned a lot about the structure and the ecosystems in Europe, thanks to XR4ALL. And then the future. Well, the future is not confirmed yet. I mean, I would really like to insist a lot on this, because Horizon Europe has not been approved by member states yet. It's still under discussion. It means that everything that you could see elsewhere circulating is always draft and should be taken with a lot of cautions, because honestly, and I'm really honest here, it could still change a lot. So don't take it for granted. Maybe it will stay the same, maybe it will not stay the same at all. The budget is absolutely not firm yet. If you have seen numbers, same remark. I mean, this is not for sure. I put the current situation here so that you have an idea. So we will have quite also a number of calls and things going in different directions in the next 2 years. We will have another CSA, but the CSA this time will be on ethics, interoperability, and impact. I think it's clear from the talk I just gave now that those are things we believe should be solved and investigated further to help the deployment. So we are going to really work on with the coming CSA. Then there will be quite many research and innovation actions. So it means projects focusing really on law, TRL, and research about modeling of systems, about haptics and XR4ALL, about innovation for media. So, I mean, in the media sector, there is a huge potential. And about XR technologies as a whole. So a kind of more general call there. And there will be some innovation action as well. There will be an extensive effort on collaborative telepresence, because I think it's quite clear that we need a kind of European optimal virtual Zoom or WebEx here. This is absolutely needed. So we hope to be able to support that. Innovation for media is an innovation action. In fact, I made a mistake. And then we will also investigate applications in the learning domain, which is also clear considering the crisis that we are here. We really need to see how we can exploit XR for learning and education. So those will be the priorities, hopefully, of the coming years. And I repeat, still to be confirmed. I would like to finish by, raising an important point, is that XR has links with many other political initiatives. I already mentioned the Green Deal, but there are many other things out there. The data actors, I mean, it was mentioned very often, but data is at the heart of XR as well. So there are links with the AI, with the Media Action Plan, where there is an AR/VR coalition organized dealing with those aspects exclusively for media, but I mean, there are quite a lot of links with everything we do. And XR is also mentioned in the Digital Education Action Plan, where basically we try to investigate what are the solutions for better education in the 21st century. So, I mean, XR is really at the heart of many things we do and should stay there for a while. So thank you for your attention. I hope that it will at least have given you a glimpse about what we believe are the priorities that we should deal with.
Hello again, everyone, and thank you very much, Anne, for your presentation and the confirmation of what we already knew, and that's the reason why we are all gathered here, is how Europe and the European Commission believes in the importance of supporting and fostering XR within the country. The speakers, and I'm just here to close this great connection we had all together today by giving you some words about next step. XR for Europe. So as a quick reminder, even if most of you already know about it, everything began for us in 2018 by the creation of XR4ALL with 5 consortium members within an Edge 2020 framework program. The XR4ALL program is a 3 years program that will end this year in August. And along the years, we gathered and made a lot of things all together. So this is a quick reminder of what have been done so far. So up to date, we are more than 1,100 individual members within XR4ALL, within every European countries and abroad. We gathered and partnered with 17 European clusters, may they be territorial or sectorial clusters, and you had the opportunity to meet today. We had more than 30 ambassadors working with us to promote and help organizing a series of activities, such as working on the research agenda that have been provided last year, thanks to your participations, to the European Commission to provide guidance for the new program to come, the program presented by On Horizon Europe. We've been organizing webinars, workshops, and 2 annual events in which we had the pleasure to meet you all. We've been provided, and it was an important point of our action, grants for European XR startups, and organized an XR Tech Venture Forum twice during our annual event. And of course, communicating about the program and its members, promoting the talents and innovations within the members through our communication tools. As our program is coming to an end, one important point of our mission was to prepare next step. So how to build a sustainable answer to ensure the continuation to what have been done for the 3 years, the 3 last years. And so we decided to create a new organization, a pan-European non-for-profit organization at the service of XR professionals and ecosystem. And this organization is called XR4Europe. We are very thrilled to prepare this organization for the following missions that have been highlighted through our work within the XR4ALL program, which is to represent, to defend, and to develop European XR technologies, solutions, content creations, and application throughout the continent, but also abroad, outside of Europe. The idea is that XR4Europe will be a service-based association to serve its members, and I will talk about how you can be a member afterwards, and to be the voice of what is XR in Europe, which is diverse and challenging in our continent, but rich of a lot of innovations and initiatives. And that's why we are so many today gathered to share and listen about this topic. We had the pleasure not to be alone within XR4ALL, but joined by so many interesting and active and enthusiastic partners. Most of them you had the opportunity to meet today. And all together, we are currently finishing the first step of the new organization, which is having a common project and translating it to legal details to found, hopefully next month, legally, I mean, the association. So thanks again to all the partners of XR4ALL that believed in the importance of creating all together this new organization. The purpose of these organizations, and we talked a lot about it, it's again to help financing startups and SMEs. So to help raising funding, and it's been a topic of discussion during the past hours to help ensuring the development of technologies and solutions within Europe, to build new projects together. And as project, we also think about other consortium, other working groups, gathered energies within Europe to push forward the industry and European solutions. An important point is also to build bridges, not only between XR developers and creators, but between the solution developed in Europe and the users. So how European company can benefit and address to us, XR developers, their needs to ensure that the solutions and developments in Europe are really answering the needs. As said before, we will work at promoting the excellence of the European XR professionals and technologies and content within the continent, from Brussels, as the headquarters of the association will be based in Brussels to be close to the European institutions, but also to the world. So really be a promoting tool to talents within Europe. I already talked about it, but we know that Europe is diverse, is really fragmented. It's a chance and a challenge at the same time. A chance in the sense that there's a lot of initiatives and a lot of resources and funding within Europe in different countries, but there's a true need to gather and to build bridges between all of these initiatives. Funding will be a key need for our companies and solutions and professionals. The network we've been building through XR4ALL, and thanks to all the existing networks of you partners, will have to be strengthened and completed, as we know that some territories are very well represented and organized, and some others are underrepresented and need more contacts and connection to structure themselves. We will be the voice of what we could call the XR made in Europe throughout the world. And an important point that have been discussed during our panel and pointed by Anne as well is the importance to represent the industry in the future European regulations. So how to join XR4Europe? I won't enter into the detail, and you will have further explanation and informations in the coming websites. You will be able to be member of XR4Europe as an individual, as a professional, as you as a cluster, such as the partners already on board, or as a private company or organization, may it be a public body, a university, a research lab, and so on. And also, you can become a patron or a sponsor to support more significantly our actions and help building a strongest association. So in a nutshell, it was about giving you an insight about where we are in the creation of XR4Europe. It's clear that we need to have more space, more tools to gather, to work together, to exchange and build a stronger ecosystem for the extended reality companies and professionals within the continent. I invite you to go to the website, which is a temporary page so far. XR4ALL websites will go along, so all of the resources, and including the session we had today, will be available through XR4ALL communication tool and YouTube channel. And please feel free to contact us at XR4ALL and connect with XR4Europe.eu to have further information. And of course, contact your own local network to have further information, as we are not alone, but already a lot building this association all together. So it's a little bit weird to say you goodbye without seeing you. So I will take the opportunity to thank again all the speakers, all the professionals, all the cluster and associations representatives that participate in this spring event. It's a very moving moment as we are all by distance and remotely working. So just take care. It's important in these times. Let's get in touch soon to keep working on XR for Europe all together. Bye all, and take care.